headed to Johns Hopkins to see Dr. Nicolas Maragakis, who's doing an iPS stem cell study, which is induced pluripotent stem cells. So what they're going to do is basically take a biopsy of my skin cells and then in the lab break those skin cells down into stem cells and then further break the stem cell down into a motor neuron cell. This is my first visit down to Johns Hopkins for this study. I actually met Dr. Maragakis at a research luncheon that was sponsored by the ALS Association, the Philadelphia chapter.
From the standpoint of Johns Hopkins, as well as the whole ALS community, there's a lot going on with regard to probably a big panorama of different targets for different ALS therapeutics, and that includes now more than ever drugs or potential drug candidates. We've talked about antisense oligonucleotides, or the ability to potentially turn off genes, which is something that we didn't have in our arsenal, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And then stem cells for their use in therapeutics, but also using stem cells to try to discover more about the disease and to try to then potentially turn skin cells, much like the ones you've donated today, to try to turn those cells into stem cells. That's part one, trying to understand more about the disease. Part two is, can we then think about screening different drugs? So that's really how we're using the skin cells you donated today to try to understand more about the disease and try to think about therapeutics.
This particular trial that we just were at, there's no way it can help you.
Yeah, it won't help me in the sense that even if they found a medication that somehow miraculously works against my motor neurons that are being grown in the lab, in order to get that compound or medication FDA approved, it takes years, 10 plus years. And we're talking about a compound that's not even being used on an animal, it's being used on cells. So we don't even know what it does to the rest of the body. So even if it worked, it might not be safe in the body. So
it would take too long.
Take too long
to help you. So why do it?
I do it for my family and for the countless other families out there fighting for their lives and watching their family members die from ALS. I do it because it's a promise I made to myself, it's a promise I've made to other patients, and it's a promise that I've made to my sisters and my dad.